Graham.
All right, welcome into another episode of Nightmare Stories of the Other Side. Tonight is a special edition as it is our 100th podcast. And tonight we are welcoming in Olivia Curtis. Welcome in and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Olivia. I am a big paranormal enthusiast, although I am relatively new to actually being in the field. I've grown up watching, like paranormal shows. I think I started watching them when I was 12. So I've really been into it. I lived in a haunted house, and recently I got the crazy, you know, winning of a lifetime, it felt like. And I got to join Project Fear on an investigation. It was done through the Fear Club. I won a drawing, and that was how it all started.
That is a great accomplishment. It's like, everybody that's in the Fear Club, it's like, wants to win that drawing. And it's like, I don't know how many people are in the Fear Club altogether, but it's like, it seemed like it was quite the big process.
Yeah. I actually, when I was on the trip, I was talking with them about it, and I looked into it, and there's upwards of 4,000 people at the time in the Fear Club. I don't know what it's at now, it could be more, but that alone, I was like, maybe I need to go buy a lottery ticket as well.
Right?
The odds are
For
in my
sure.
favor now.
So in watching that episode, like I think it was Tanner or was it Alex? I can't remember which one said, but you had previously been on one investigation prior to with them.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that a little bit before we jump into the Project Fear portion.
definitely. So that is actually also connected to the Fear Club, strangely enough. I was in the Fear Club one day and I saw somebody post, and I realized that the town that they were in was the same town I'm in. And I was like, their name looked familiar. And lo and behold, I actually went to high school with him. And
Okay.
he and I had like science class together or something like that. And I reached out to him, and we kind of just hit it off. His wife I went to middle and high school with, so it was immediately like easy to be friends with. And then he invited me to go with him, and he has like a local kind of crew that he goes with sometimes. And we went to Linville Manor, which is out in Bowie, Maryland. So
Okay.
that was a
Never heard of
pretty,
that. Never heard of
no,
it.
yeah, it's a smaller, like, I guess not as well known, but it still packs a decent punch. I think it was on Kindred Spirits.
Okay.
Yeah, but that place was pretty cool too. It was a good intro because it was a little more. I think I described it as modest in the video because it is a like indoor. It's not as abandoned feeling.
Yeah.
So somebody still lives there. It's a nice place, and it is a current operating Airbnb as well. So it was kind of a neat vibe to get into investigating with.
So like for that night, like what was one of the main like, experiences you had that night?
So that night, what was really strange was there was this supposedly a cat, like a spirit cat that haunts the property. And of course, I love cats, so I was like all over that. And we were all sitting in the living room, and we were kind of talking, getting ready to start the investigation. And over off to my right, I heard a cat meow. And I was like, there's no way that I just heard a cat meow. I didn't say anything because I thought maybe I'm just, biased to that. And then
Yeah.
other people started saying, like, I feel like a cat just brushed against my leg. And I was like, okay, now I'm feeling like this could be legitimate. And then later on, I actually took a photo of it with a like film camera that I have from like the 90s. And there is a cat sitting in the window of that
Oh,
photo.
nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's kind of cool. That was like probably my favorite piece of evidence there. Of course, there was like other things too that we captured, lots of like footsteps and stuff, but obviously I got to go with the cat.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like, yeah, definitely sounds like a good Kickstarter investigation.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was 2025. So it was
2020. Okay.
25.
Okay. So for like, Project Fear, did you like start watching them when they were Destination Fear or
Yep. I have been a fan since day one. I distinctly remember when Dakota was on Ghost Adventures, and because we're pretty much the same age, so I was like, "This is so cool! Like somebody my age is, doing this." And I was a big Ghost Adventures fan at the time, so totally into it. And then I remember when they got, their TV show, and of course watched every episode of that. I've been here since the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of funny for like my daughter and I, like we started watching when they were Project Fear, and
Nice.
like I kept hearing Project Fear. I'm like, what is Project Fear? To me in my head, it was like I thought it was like Fear Factor.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's fair.
but then like, we found them on YouTube and started, watching with the Sweet Springs episode, like instantly hooked. So we watched all the way through up to like whatever video they had out. And then I'm like, well, let's go back and find Destination Fear and watch that. But yeah, it's just like just how they go about investigating. It's just like you're instantly hooked.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you can tell they're very much looking for the evidence. It's not, just here for the hype. It is like they're investigating, and I find that like really tasteful when I
Yeah.
watch them.
Okay, so now we go. So you win the contest through Fear Club. When did you find out like what location that they were taking you to, and what was your reaction?
So they actually didn't tell me until like mid-October, which
Okay.
I'm a big planner, so that was like that 7 month gap was a lot for me because I didn't know where I was going. I had no clue of like anything. And yeah, Tanner sent me an email, and it had basically like a layout of everything that I needed to know. And it was as soon I prisons are my favorite. They've always been
Okay.
my favorite, which is like very weird. But I have always been like, I hope I get to go to a haunted prison. And finding out that it was Brushy, I was like, immediately went back and had to watch the episode. And I was so like, I just thought it was really sweet that they saved this experience, and Brushy, because Brushy has like this kind of nostalgicness to them
Yeah.
for being the first episode of Destination Fear. So I thought it was really neat to kind of get to be a part of that circle that they made. But
Oh, definitely.
yeah, definitely excited when I found out it was Brushy.
So, were you guys were there obviously the whole night, or what time did you guys get there?
I think we got there around 5 in the evening because they closed at 4:30 for like tours that people can come and do. Um, and then from about 5 to 8, we shot all the B-roll footage and stuff. So I got to be on site for that, which was really
Nice.
cool. Pretty much the whole time though, I hung out with Chelsea, and her and I sat there and just talked and looked for rocks.
Okay.
But I did get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes. I got to see the drone, which was really cool. And then, yeah, after they were done shooting all the B roll, we went and just started. We shot the intro and then got started right away.
Yeah, because like you always wonder, like, you only get to see, hour to an hour and a half of
Yeah,
what they film, but there's like, for us that have investigated before, there's like so much in between. It's like, the
yeah,
footage that doesn't make it, you
right.
know, just the beginning pieces of it. So like after you guys did the B-roll and you did the intro, did you just like dive right in, or like was there any time where you just kind of like walked around the prison at all first?
Yeah, so we walked around a little bit. Prior to the B-roll, we kind of like got situated with it, and then they started filming B-roll. And so while they were in certain buildings, Chelsea and I would kind of meander around and see kind of different spaces. There were actually a couple buildings I didn't even get to go into because time just didn't allow for it. Um, but yeah, it was. I think the only building I didn't go into was the gymnasium, actually. So
Okay.
would have liked to because it looked like they got some pretty crazy stuff in there. But yeah, the property itself is really like interesting to walk around just because it's boxed in by a mountain, which is
Right.
so neat, and the only way to get in and out is through a singular road, so you feel
Mhm.
pretty safe, walking around
Yeah.
up there. But yeah, it was pretty interesting property for sure.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Jada because I hear she has questions for you.
Sure.
I do. So my first one was, what was your initial like thought or the first feeling that really hit you whenever you saw the building itself?
So that I distinctly remember because as we were driving up, you can see it from the road before you get to the gate. And I just remember like seeing it and being like, what have I gotten myself into? That was like my initial thought process. And then that was immediately washed away with just how excited I was to kind of like get in there and see it. I have my bachelor's degree in history, so the history of the location itself was like so interesting to me. I love going to like old places, so it kind of felt like that, except I knew I was going to be in this a little bit deeper. um, but yeah, I think my initial reaction was a little bit of nerves and then immediately just excitement.
Good. So I heard you talking about that ghost cat on your first investigation. Whenever you got to Brushy, did you hear anything about the workers talking about a dog? Or did you hear a dog while you were there?
Uh, Now that I think about it, I feel like when we were doing B-roll, maybe when we were filming with the drone, because Chelsea and I were kind of just standing off to the side while they were all doing that. I feel like we did hear a dog, but I don't like. I think I just disregarded it. I was like, oh, it's like somebody who lives on the mountain. But I'm now curious why.
My first time that we were there, we were standing out in the courtyard in the back, and a dog just kept barking, and I was like, "Where is that at?" Like it was like driving me insane. I'm like, what's going on? So I asked the lady. I was like, "What kind of dog do you guys have?" And she was like, "We've been hearing that for a couple months. We've looked over the whole property. There's not a dog here." So I thought that was extremely
Hmm.
interesting, and I wanted to ask if you had heard anything about that.
Yeah, I feel like that goes along kind of with the whole like haunted Appalachia kind of thing. Might fit into that.
So, um, this is kind of a weird question. Did you experience any form of like deja vu throughout the entire investigation?
um, hmm. I did have a little bit of deja vu actually on the plane. Heading to so I flew out of Virginia and then I went to Atlanta and then from Atlanta I went to Tennessee. Uh the ride from Tennessee or from Atlanta to Tennessee is only like 30 minutes. It's very short. And there was a point on that where I looked up at the top of the plane because it was such a small plane, and there's this gap, which there shouldn't be a gap there. It was like the plane was old and kind of falling apart a little bit. And you could see the like stuff that they put the foam for like soundproofing. I could actually see it. And while I was looking at that, I had this like strange sense of like, I've been here before, but I don't recall if I had it at the location. I just had it leading up to it.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been on a plane before that?
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that'd
I've
be
been
weird.
but I've never been on a plane that's like kind of slightly falling apart.
Well,
That's
I'm glad that
crazy.
the plane did not fall apart with you.
Me too. That would have been a rather unfortunate series of events.
So, am I good to keep going, Matthew,
Yeah,
or
go
do you?
ahead. Yep,
Okay.
go ahead.
So this is one that my mom wanted me to ask you. Do you carry any form of protection with you whenever you investigate? And if so, what is it?
um, are we talking spiritual or physical?
You know what? For the sake of the interview, let's go spiritual.
Yes, I do. I tend to wear just like crystals, so I'll keep quartz on me. Um, this time I actually forgot my quartz, which was like such a big
I did the same thing.
really.
I carry black tourmaline,
That's a good one.
and it was in the windshield of the car.
Huh. Yeah, I had my it's ritualated quartz, so it's got like the black tourmaline like through it. And I forgot it here. And I usually do keep it like on me at all times kind of thing, especially if I'm going into places that have energies that could be a little darker. Uh, but yeah, I forgot it this time. And I wondered if that's why some of the things that happened.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I saw you do Estes, which is crazy. I've attempted that 3 times and I've gotten overstimulated each time and had to quit.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your upcoming investigations, what's one method that you're looking forward to using that you haven't yet tried?
That's a good question. I I do think that there's something like about being alone that brings energies forward. So I didn't get to do the alone thing as long as I maybe would have liked. I mean, I got kind of freaked out there, so that's on me. But I think doing further isolation would be interesting. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like there's so many different methods you could try. Um, I've always wanted to try like one of the flashlights that like
Hmm.
you can
We
try to.
did that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so entertaining.
yeah, I know. I've always like liked it when I see people using that. I'm like, I should try that. I need to get one of those. I'm gonna put that on my list of things to order.
So cool. We get like the miniature mag lights.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really easy to carry around, but it's also easier for them to utilize.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, I already asked that one. Oh, do you have like a pre investigation like routine that you go through?
I do like a energetic zip up kind of thing where I just kind of block anything from being able to like attach from me because I really don't want to bring anything home. So very much just like guarding my energy and protecting it. Um, and that's kind of a more meditative thing than anything. It's not really like a physical it's more just sitting and kind of like coming into peace with my energy and making sure I'm in tune with what my normal feels like before going into something where that could change.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that and grounding with some stones and stuff, and drinking lots of water because I feel like it's easy to get dehydrated in those situations.
Oh, for
Definitely.
sure.
Just walking around all night.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a follow up on that because you mentioned trying to get into like your normal headspace
Mm-hmm.
before going in because it's very easy to get all in your head and just get freaked out about it pretty much. Something that I always do, I always listen to like the same album or the same couple songs before I go in. Do you have a song or anything that you like to kind of use to bring you into that mindset or anything?
I will say, like, the kind of music that I would like that kind of settles me in is I really like lo-fi music that
Uh,
is like there's not usually lyrics involved, so I feel like you can attribute whatever emotion you need to it. Um, I think that's like a good way to almost put you into that like neutral headspace like that because it's not going to influence your thoughts. So
yeah.
I would say like listening to stuff that keeps me calm is definitely. I don't want to listen to anything that's going to amp me up, and then I might just be too jumpy.
Definitely. Um, what are like whenever you're going to investigate a place or you hear about someone, you're like, oh, I want to go there. What's normally the things or like the headlines of a place that draw you to it?
Hmm. Um, I think it's like a mix. So one will be the history of the location. I like again, that's just such a thing for me. My concentration really was in like American history, so I like the Civil War stuff. I like that kind of era of things. But I think truly what draws me in is more of a energy, and it can also very quickly like put me off of it. So I don't like to dabble with stuff that's too dark. I find that to be a risk I don't necessarily want to take. I don't know if there's angels and demons. There could be, and I don't really want to roll that dice.
Yeah,
So
that's understandable.
yeah, I would say like I read the energy of it and see what I feel when I think of it. If it's excitement, I'm good. If it's apprehension, I'm probably gonna stay away.
You're really into history, which I find intriguing. I am too. What's one place that like the history of it itself brings you into and that you'd love to go to?
Hmm. Um, Weirdly enough, despite living as close as I do, I've not been to Gettysburg.
Really?
Yeah, that's like
Interesting.
on my list of places to go, and I've actually been trying to work something out to get out there. So that might happen maybe this summer, hopefully. But
That's
it, that area is so saturated. There's just so
oh,
much history. So I think that would be one of the places that I gotta figure out how to get to.
make sure to go to Devilston while you're down there. That's my
Okay.
favorite place of the entire section of Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Um, and they also have really good restaurants down there.
Mm. Any place with ghosts and food, I'm happy.
Yeah, for
Yeah, me
sure.
too.
Speaking of ghosts and food, last summer when we were down at Indiana State Sanatorium, Billy Creek Village, just up the road from there too, there's this biker bar, the best burgers I've ever had. Oh my God. It's like
Wow.
I want to go back just for the burgers.
Sounds good.
All right. How about you, Courtney? Do you have any questions? I'll just kind of keep going around in a circle here.
Yeah, do you do you plan to like keep in touch with them? I guess I would assume so, but you know what I mean? Like, did they say anything about like maybe working together in the future? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Your
mean,
plans.
fingers are crossed.
Like if you guys like, keep in touch, I don't know, via email or whatever, but I would maybe think so. I don't know.
Yeah. There's been some communication, trying to keep it, neutral and not be
Yeah.
too pick me about it.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's easy. I want to go there, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But
Don't
yeah,
want to act too much like a groupie again.
exactly. Yeah,
Got it.
can't let her out yet.
Yeah,
No,
got it. Yeah.
there's been, I mean, like I have some of their contact information and of course interactions on social
Mhm.
and stuff. And I think the Project Fear account followed me on Instagram, which I was like, okay, I'm satisfied with that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they interact through there more than like their individual accounts, which is to be
Yeah.
expected. But
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, I've been snooping through some of the comments on the video, and it does seem like a lot of people would like me to go back. So
Oh,
maybe if
There
they
you
do
go.
that, I would do it.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking like maybe if they're in your area, like, hey, next time we're in your area, like
Yeah, I did.
have
I did
something,
mention that. I was like,
something
no,
like that.
I'm
Yeah.
here. I can get the hookup. I know the places.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So one question I had pop up. So like when they're doing the packet read, is there like any times they screw up and they have to like reshoot it?
Oh yes. Yeah, I mean, it's just like immediately back in, school, and unfortunately your friend decides that they're gonna pass the reading over to you, and you're like, oh, okay, and you're gonna mess up. Like it's just like I think it took me like 3 takes. But what's interesting about how they film is they don't like stop. So they just kind of keep going, and then
Yeah.
they edit what they need to. Um, so yeah, the packet reading, you fumble here and there, but honestly, I was intimidated to read in front of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that like already was a lot, and then they all kind of slipped up here and there, and I was like, oh, okay, we're all natural and human
Oh
here. So
yeah.
good.
So like when you guys actually started investigating, so when you and Chelsea and Alex were in the cell, that was pretty intense. What was coming across.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. The EVPs that we captured in there were
So
that
what were your initial feelings on what was going on in there?
that building was weird. So the way that it was shaped was it's kind of like a big circle, and then like it's
yeah.
2 hallways that kind of branch like this. So the shape of it, I feel like, allows for just this constant energetic movement, which could attribute to some of the stuff that they get in there. But um, there was always like, and I think we mentioned it several times in the video, there was always just like this cold, like breeze that would come out of nowhere.
Right.
And when we first got into that building, I was like, oh, it's not as cold in here. And then we sat down and we started doing the EVPs, and that was something that like kept happening, and so we would get really cold. And then the EVPs started to point in a certain direction that kind of went along with the cold, and I was like, okay, I don't know, this is kind of creepy. So there's a few times where I never felt like I was actually in any like danger or anything. I just felt like the energy itself, that entity that was following us around, it didn't have like very good vibes.
Oh, definitely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So like overall for like, you know, God, I'm already drawing a blank and I only watched a video a couple nights ago. But like overall for like that piece of the video, what was like the most intimidating to you? What was coming across on the EVPs or actually being in the cell?
Mm, I don't honestly, I think it was both. The energy in that cell was uncomfortable, but I felt like if I played into that, it was gonna make it worse. So again, it was just like trying to stay somewhat neutral, but of course, some of the stuff that was coming through was just like a
Yeah,
little bit too far to
right.
be like I can remain neutral. And then of course you start thinking to yourself like if a person were sitting here and saying these things to me, like I would feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you kind of start to get in your own head and it makes it a little bit worse. I will say when the guys all went around the corner and walked away and left me and her there, that was way different. That was very like we felt nervous once they were gone. So, and I don't know if that's just because there's less people there,
Yeah.
but yeah, that one was. I didn't like that as much. I liked it as far as what we captured, but energy wise, it was a
But then
little
it's
uncomfortable.
crazy too to look back on this video and the first time they were there, the stuff that was coming through is some of the same stuff.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that
been
was
like how many years apart?
yeah. I think it's been like almost 7 years since they've
Yeah,
been
it
back.
was crazy.
So the fact that like such a similar experience happened on multiple occasions, it was yeah, that was something we were all talking about afterwards of like it's so strange. It's almost like you could say it's residual, but the interactions are so intelligent that it's
Yeah,
not, which is weird. Yeah.
for sure. All right, I'll turn it back over to our brushy mountain expert.
I don't know if I have as many as far as the location itself goes, but what what did you pick up on whenever you guys were in the hole?
Hmm.
Did you go down
I did. That's where I
there?
did my solo.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't know if you were in there or what is it, D block?
Yeah, so D block was where me, Chelsea, and Alex went, and then the whole was after that.
Okay.
Dakota just thought it would be so fun to send me down there by myself.
Mhm.
You
I
got
knew
the
something
Aaron
was coming.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Zach always makes Aaron go on a
I was gonna say, I think he takes from that.
Yeah,
learn
you know, I would
best.
agree, but I will say, like, he was like, if you don't want to, you don't have
Yeah, yeah,
to. And I
yeah.
was like, it's okay. Like, I came here for the experience. I have no problems doing it. But
Yes.
yeah, that energy down there was weird. It was a decent amount of the like bell communication got condensed down because it was going off like so consistently, like so often that it was interrupting me. So when I would start to ask it a question, it would just ding, and then I couldn't finish my question, or I'd start to finish like, and it would cut me off again, and it had this feeling of very arrogant, like just nasty, rude male kind of vibes. Like it just felt like a not nice man to me.
Yeah,
And of course, like your brain tries to make images when you're in that type of a situation. I mean, you can't see, so
Yeah.
dark.
yeah,
And I'm in my mind. I could like, I felt like I could see this man sitting near that bell, just like being like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know why you're asking me all these questions. And so when I tried to interact with it on a little bit more of like a spiritual level, where I was like, you don't have to stay here. You're a soul. You can go. I felt like it kind of got annoyed with me being that way, and that's why it then chose to make such a ruckus that I had to get out, because that noise was beyond intimidating. It was way more intimidating than just a bell.
Yeah.
So.
God, I just had one right there. Okay. I'm sorry. I like completely blanked on that one. I First of all, I found it extremely intriguing the way that what's his name? I'm blanking. The guy who shot MLK. All right.
James.
There we go. Yeah. I thought that it was so interesting how he spent half of the time with you and then half the time with Chelsea. That was
Right.
so crazy.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to him. My mom has a video of a cigarette burning in front of his cell from one time that she was there, which I thought was really cool. Did you end up getting to go in the upstairs of D Block?
I did not. I don't think. Well, no, I don't think so. No.
If you ever go back, I felt as if the energy got a little bit more intense once you go higher up in that building. It was really heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you end up going also? I know that you went to like the hospital kind of area. Did you end up like on the stage in the auditorium?
I didn't go on the stage, but we were like, we walked through the auditorium. I saw the stage. I didn't like the auditorium.
All right. Yeah. Was it heavy in there for you?
Yes. I think I even mentioned it as soon as we walked into the hospital, like, to get into the hospital, you have to go down the hallway that's shared for the auditorium. So they kind of like branch off of one another.
Yeah.
And it was like as soon as I got in that hallway, it felt just like the super heavy pressure. And I at first like tried to kind of ignore it. I was like, okay, well, it's late, whatever, I don't know. And then it just got stronger the further into the hospital we went. And I was like, okay, I'm actually like feeling that. And I think I mentioned it in the video, and Dakota and Tanner both were like, yeah, like you can feel this like oppressive feeling, and it is pretty palpable up there.
We went with two of our friends, and me and my friend Piper were both sitting on the stage, and about the same exact time we both got headaches and like migraines behind our right eye, which was kind of crazy.
Huh.
We rewatched the video last night just because I was like, oh, I gotta ask her questions. And when I was like, I've been dying to ask you this because you mentioned at the very beginning of the video, and no one really carried forth with that. You said that you grew up in a haunted house.
I did.
Do you have any stories to share regarding that?
Yes, I do. So the house was actually a brand new build. We built it, my family did. And it was built on Civil War battlefields. So the rule with the subdivision that we lived in was you can build on this property, but every single street has to be named after a fallen soldier.
Oh.
So as if you're just asking the energy to stay there.
Right.
We lived on like General Kirkland. So like you're living on streets named after these people. You're bound to have something. And there's train tracks that are within walking distance. So the energy is just constant. They're always doing reenactments there too. So cannons were blown off in the summer.
Oh.
Lots of stuff going on there. And we moved there when I was 12, I think. And which is interesting because that's right around the same time I started getting into the paranormal. And that house initially was quiet. Everything was normal. And it was within the first like 2 years of us living there. We started with small stuff where you'd hear like little things here and there. And then it got a little worse. I started hearing my own voice or my sister's voice. And that was very strange. Because I'd be home alone and hearing somebody calling. And then we actually lost like 7 pets in that house, which was weird. yeah, it was a lot, and like some of them were old, so it kind of made sense, but a lot of them
I
were.
have heard though that electromagnetic energy can actually affect pets in like a really negative way and like a stress way. So they
Mhm.
can get heart disease and stuff from just the stress
Yeah,
of that. So that could be it.
yeah, definitely.
It's not always a negative energy, it's just the
Right, the
Yeah.
electromagnetic,
energy.
yeah,
Hmm.
that can do it.
Yeah, we had, after like I got deeper into it and dragged my family into it with me, we did actually have a medium tell us that there was like 7 soldiers that were all under the age of like 19 who were just transient in our house at like all times.
Hmm.
And we were like, okay, that's great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in that house, I distinctly remember I was like I had just graduated high school. I was probably like just turning 18, and the way that the room that I was in was set up is I could look out my door where I laid in bed and I could see straight down the hallway to my parents' bedroom door. And it was like very late at night and I was watching TV. Everybody else was asleep, so it was only my TV kind of flickering that was lighting up the space. But it was enough that I could see darker shapes here and there.
Mhm.
And in my parents' doorway, mind you, we had like, I think 9 foot tall ceilings in this house. So door jambs were about 7.5. In my parents' doorway, I saw a shadow peek out from the top. And it just stayed there, looking right towards me. And I knew, like, as soon as I saw it out of the corner of my eye, I was like, I can't look at this thing. I just had this feeling of like, don't look at it,
Yeah.
don't engage. And it stayed there for like at least, I mean, of course it feels like forever, but I would say probably like a solid 30 seconds to a minute just staring. And then it slowly crept further into the hallway. And before it made it to my room, it darted down our stairs and it moved so unnaturally fast. I mean, I've never seen anything move that fast, and I hope to
That's
never see anything
crazy.
move that fast again. um, but that was kind of like the shift. So when that happened, the next day I told my parents what happened and they were like, okay, I think we've had enough here, between things going missing, objects flying around the house. My mom's glasses literally moved across the table in front of us one day and like shot 5 feet into the room. It was
Wow.
just too much. And we made the choice to move at that point.
Yeah.
Stayed there for a while with that.
Do you believe that coming to the like realization, because I know that once I started getting a bit more inclined in my abilities, do you believe that your like realization and interest in the paranormal sparked the activity a little more?
Definitely think so. I think if you're open, you're gonna experience. And
Yeah.
that's like, we actually would, in my house, my dad was very much the skeptic. It was incredibly hard to get him to believe anything experience. He'd be like, oh, okay, that's nice. And you're like, no, it's not. But we would have that contradiction in our house where me and my mom and my sister were very open to it. We're experiencing all these things, and my dad's not experiencing anything. Um, Over time, he's shifted a little bit, and more experiences have started to happen for him, which just, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the first thing my mom ever saw was a Native American sitting on a battlefield out here in Northern Virginia, and like the smoke was like swirling, and people were just walking past him like it wasn't even real. And he was like dressed like a full like
Hmm.
chief, like full gear,
Wow.
smoking a pipe, and the pipe smoke was swirling strangely. My mom and my sister were in the front seat. They saw it, and I didn't see it. And at the time, I hadn't really been introduced to the paranormal. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the start of the snowball that just keeps going.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Um, since you've become over the past year, starting more investigations and more, I guess, just diving deeper, what's the best piece of advice that you've received since your journeys began?
That's a good question. Um, the Project Fear crew is big about protection. Like they don't want to bring anything home. So I don't even know if it was fully advised. It was just something you kind of noticed. Like they're not engaging with it on a level that allows it in. They're
Mm-hmm.
just bringing it close enough that you can interact. I describe it as opening a window versus opening a door. No,
Okay.
you can't let anything in through a window, but it can come in through a door. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like watching them and how they operate in it. I felt like there was so much to learn just by their energy alone and how they hold themselves in those environments. Also, one of my friends, I had an experience when we went to Linville, and I didn't say anything because it was a feeling, it wasn't tangible. And he said, always tell us when you're feeling things because you never know when somebody else is also feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
It immediately just makes it, more legitimate. So don't be afraid to like say when you're feeling something, even if there's no evidence of it.
Yeah. Such a great way to explain that, really. Just
Yeah.
opening a window instead of a door.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever you were walking through like the different branches of the prison itself, which one did you feel the most drawn to?
Hmm. Um, I don't. I wish it wasn't this, but I will say I did feel the most drawn to the whole. Like I felt like, and maybe that was because something in there wanted to communicate to me. I mean, it mentioned it in the Estes, and ultimately it got what it wanted. It did say, like come. I think it said like come here or something like
Yeah.
that, and then it said like to the hole, and I was like, oh, okay. Like ultimately, it got me there. That area, I felt like something maybe just wanted to communicate. Maybe it just wanted to scare me. I don't know, but that was like the
Yeah.
area that I was the most intrigued by as far as what could be in there. Like
Yeah.
what kind of energy gets stuck in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So for the night in a whole, what was your overall takeaway from investigating there?
Hmm. Uh that was a very strange thing for me to feel because I was very aware that what I was doing was like in some ways risky. But at the same time, I wanted so badly to understand this entity that I was speaking to through the bell. Um, but I think ultimately, what I took from that is that not every entity actually wants to talk to you. Because that's what it felt like. The way that it was answering my questions was very confusing, as if it was just like trying to run me off, basically. And I think when I didn't give in to its, kind of behavior, that might be why it went and, made such a loud noise. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm tired of you. Like, get out of here, get out of my space. Because I imagine people come in there and, say all sorts of assumptions. They say things like these, oh, all these spirits down here were just so bad. These were just such bad people.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably a decent amount of them were, but what if there's a chance that that's not the case? Like, what if, and sometimes maybe they don't want to be spoken to in a more
Right.
positive manner when that's not what they're used to.
For
So,
sure. Courtney, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
Well, I don't know. I feel like Jada was very thorough.
Because I know I have a few fun ones, but I don't know, you have any other more investigation type questions before I get to like the fun questions?
I don't know. I think I just go to it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's so fun.
all right. So this is going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Out of the five members of Project Fear, who's your favorite?
Oh,
Mm.
what? No.
Yep, I have to ask it. Everybody has their favorite.
I mean, everybody does. I'll be honest with you. I think I have to go with Chelsea, and I'm not just saying that to like avoid anything here, but she and I, throughout the whole trip, because I was with them for 3 days. It wasn't just a day.
Okay.
Like I flew in, we spent the evening, hanging out. The next day we were all together all day, and then the next day we kind of flew out all together. Um, but the whole time she was so like sisterly. Like
Okay.
I have an older sister, so I recognize that behavior, but it was just like easy with her. We just clicked and talked endlessly. So if there's anybody that I can just sit and yap with for hours, that's an easy connection for me. So yeah, she just made me feel very comfortable and very at home.
Yeah, she is very easy to talk to. I've met her, what, 3 times, and it's like,
Mhm.
so like both my daughter and I, she's actually our eye doctor.
Oh,
So,
cool.
so just going there, like, being able to talk paranormal shop with her while getting your eye
Mhm.
exam, it's just like we've known her forever.
Yeah, yeah. And she's just so good at making you feel like you're not like over talking or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like she's just always ready to chat with you and look for rocks.
yeah. So out of the guys, which of them is the craziest?
Ooh.
I hear my daughter upstairs laughing. I don't know if she's laughing
um,
at me, but
ah, gosh, they're all a little bit crazy in their own special way. Um, Tanner is the most like boisterous energy, which is I'm a very quiet person naturally, like that's just my state. So he is the opposite of that, which to me is crazy because I'm like, I don't know how you're just naturally so like loud and fun
yeah,
and playful. But as far as like willing to try things, I think we all know the answer to that is probably Dakota.
yeah.
He's got a special mind.
No, he for sure does. And it's like whenever I come up with an idea, now he goes, make sure you quote Dakota.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, he's the king of ideas. I knew it was coming because the whole night we were very quiet. Nothing too crazy happened. Although he had um the spirit box in his pocket, and I had no idea that was coming when we went up into the hospital. So he's definitely a planner.
Oh, for sure. So I think I saw it, but where was the hidden rubber duck?
Hmm. She's hanging out there in that
Spoiler
packet.
alert.
Yeah. She's hanging out there in the packet read. She's
Okay.
somewhere in there.
And it always seems to happen like whenever we're watching the episodes, we get to the end, it's like, wait, we never looked for the duck. It's like we
Same.
always forget.
I turned to mom. I forgot that they did the thing, the little bit, the duck. And I turned to her, to my mom, and I was like, I wonder if he still has that duck. Because when I was younger, like really young, like 8 years old, I was obsessed with watching Ghost Adventures vines for
Oh
some
yeah.
reason, like compilations of their vines. And I remember Dakota was always my favorite because once again, he was the youngest there. And I was like, I'm a young paranormal investigator. I want to have like a connection like this. I always go to his YouTube channel and there was always a duck. And I'm
Um,
just so glad that he's kept that throughout the years. Just
yeah.
like a little bit of familiarity. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice touch of continuity across
Mhm.
his whole career. And it was funny too, because when he opened the like case, the gear case, I saw her sitting in there and I was like, oh my gosh, little tiny icon just sitting there. And he was like, yeah, he told me the story of how they got the ducks, which I guess they went to some abandoned rubber duck factory when they
Yeah.
were teenagers. I was like, that alone is like the perfect story for how you got the logo for your whole brand. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
perfect.
Duck's name.
She doesn't have a name. They just call her the duck, and I find that offensive. She needs a name.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna name her. I'm just gonna tell him. By the way, I've named
Your
her.
duck's name is.
Yeah. So problem solved.
So for all the locations they've been to over the years, out of all their videos they've done, which one do you think would be your favorite?
Hmm. Uh, I've always wanted to see Trans-Allegheny. I would like to see that one.
With the
But
thing.
mhm.
That
Yeah.
got me so messed. That was like
Mhm.
creepy to me. Goosebumps, like to this
Yeah,
day.
I
Mhm.
know. I oh, maybe Juliet. Again, I like the prisons. I don't know why. I just think they're interesting, but yeah, maybe Juliet or Sweet Springs. That one's great too, but you can't go there now. That would,
Unfortunately, I'm waiting for it to open back up.
yeah, because that's not too far away from me. That's a like day trip. I could go there. So
Nice.
we'll have to see if that opens back up.
Fun fact, I think the Juliet prison was where John Gacy was held, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so fun fact. I was watching that documentary yesterday.
Oh,
I was
cool.
like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, we were there for one of the day tours about a year ago, and we were only there for a couple hours, and we got a little bit of activity. So it'd be nice to get in there at night, but unfortunately, the owners don't really buy into the paranormal, so it's like super expensive to get in there for an overnight. It's like 5 grand for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's
Don't they charge you to film too?
Yeah, you have to have like a permit from the city or something like that, and
hmm.
Mm.
Seems like
so
they're missing out on a great money making
oh,
opportunity.
for
Right,
sure.
Somebody may
right.
be doing that.
Okay, so you already mentioned like Gettysburg, but like if you had to pick 3 other locations to go investigate, what would they be?
uh, Alcatraz, obviously. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I said that too for mine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, if we're going global, I would really like to investigate the pyramids. I have a
Ooh,
big thing with
that would be, I
That would
haven't
be,
heard that one yet.
yeah, I just know there's got to be stuff out there. I mean,
mm,
it's too cool to not be haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Paris catacombs would be really
Mm,
That's what
good
I said.
choice.
yeah. But honestly, anywhere would be cool. I'm so like just getting my toes wet into this that now I'm just like I'll go to my neighbor's house if they're like it's haunted. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, here I
Yeah.
am.
No. Let's see. What else do I have? What else can I think of? I don't know if I have anything else. Courtney, do you have anything else?
Mm-mm. I feel like we asked every question.
I know I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting I was going to ask, but my brain's like mush now.
Well,
What
I
about,
guess I could ask just for like any of the skeptics that might be watching. I already know the answer to this, and I'm pretty sure you do too, but I just want you to say it all out. Do you feel like the Project Fear Group is very authentic in like how they collect evidence?
I've never met more like immediately authentic people.
Yeah.
It's so genuine. And when they get scared, they're actually scared. They're not hyping it up. Like
Mm-hmm.
it takes a minute to come down. They condense it. You don't see it, but like
yeah.
we take a few minutes to come down. They're not I know whenever I see people saying things about them being fake, I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, so
okay.
that
They're definitely completely 100% genuine.
well, that brings me back to the video. It's like I don't think I've seen Chelsea freak out so much and run out of there like she did. Like Natalie and I are looking at her like, what the hell's going on?
I,
Right.
It's just
yeah, I didn't know she did that. I when I watched the video and I saw that, I was like, wow, that she like totally forgot to like tell us that that happened and everything. But yeah, I've never seen her get. I will say that the energy there was like very much attached to her. So
oh, for sure.
yeah, I probably would have done the same thing if that would have
Yeah,
happened to
don't
me.
blame her one bit.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Jada? Any final thoughts?
Yes, sir. Just one more though. Um, I just wanted to kind of make my final question just something kind of lighthearted, and I want to start asking people this because I love talking about film. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh,
Oh gosh. Hmm. I'm gonna be honest. Horror movies scare me more than the real stuff. There's something about the like cinematic build of scary
What form?
movies. Yeah.
Psychological or gore? Which one is more
Um, the psychological stuff scares me more. It does mess with me.
perfect?
Gore I can handle. I can tell myself it's fake. I
Totally.
used to watch a show called Face Off that was on Sci-Fi. I was like obsessed with it. I watched it
Remember
every day.
that.
And they'd do like all the prosthetics. So I think that like
Cool.
desensitized me to gore.
Yeah.
Now the psychological
Also,
stuff,
just working in healthcare for me desensitized me to gore, so there's that.
that'll do it too. Yeah. Psychological though, like is definitely way more intense. Um, a long time ago when it first came out, I watched The Woman in Black. I think it had Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
And I think now looking back, it's like one of the more cheesy,
Mhm.
but it messed with me. I think I was like 15 years old and I was like, I'm a chicken and this is scary. I hate this. And I think I stopped watching it and I like made a vow to like never watch scary movies again. But I think that was probably the last time I like ventured. I should probably fix that and watch more, but
Yeah.
yeah. It's a lame answer. Sorry.
Good answer. It's a good answer. I love hearing people's what scares them the most because I feel like the movies that they enjoy. Well, you didn't enjoy that one. It sounds, but like I feel like the movies and horror movies that they enjoy, I feel as if it projects a little bit into their investigation style because you can see what they look for more and what
Yeah.
they're more scared of.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe like as I get more into the investigating, maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll be
Yeah.
more into it. I have always wanted to watch like some of the classic horror movies, so
That's what I do every weekend. I just sit and binge those. So
nice. You got a recommendation?
go with all of the Scream movies. 2017 is my personal favorite,
Okay.
but I'd go with the Scream movies if you haven't seen them.
Okay. I'll start there.
Very good choice.
I have to say, when for paranormal, oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Can't remember what I was gonna say. Never mind, I'll come back to that in a second. Uh,
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I could.
no, I bet what I was gonna say just like came and went.
Yeah, it happens to the
Okay.
best of us.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
now it's
Sorry.
back.
Always back. Like when found like films came out, like like Blair Witch and stuff, like those
Oh
movies.
yeah.
When that first came out and they didn't like tell anybody like this is not real, but they said it was real, we all believed it was real. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that was probably the scariest for me because I was like, wow, this is like awesome. Like, I want to do that. I
yeah,
want to go out there and actually do this, like 'cause we thought we thought it was real. So it was like
right.
watching a documentary. It was terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of
So
like a modern day version of the War of the Worlds. So, like when
Yeah.
they did that story in the 40s and it was over the radio and half the world tuned in too late to
yeah,
know it was a story. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I feel like it's like the modern version of that, which
Yeah, for
I
sure.
do like that whole story.
right. Yeah, no, one of the first movies that came out, I remember seeing in theaters, and I was like, they tell you at the beginning with the black screen, this is real, and like, they were never seen again, and then you're like, walk out of the theater, like, oh my God, what did I just watch? And then you're like fixated on that it was real until you find out like long time later that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It's all new, now when you watch those kind of movies, you're like, okay, I know this is not real. It
Right.
changes the way you feel the movie. It totally
Yeah,
does.
Mhm.
for sure.
Yep.
Weird. Mm-hmm.
Leaves that hollow feeling.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have anything else, final thoughts? We good?
Yep.
All right. Well, Olivia, we thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was
Yes.
really fun.
Yes, it was. All right. Well, everybody, have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
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 Bye.